All right, ladies, I'm about to give you 3 reasons why men are walking away from dating and relationships. And I'm going to be honest, you're probably not going to like what I'm about to tell you because I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So if you can't handle the truth, you might as well just scroll on past because you're probably going to get a little bit upset. Ladies, for years now, you've all told men that you don't want them, don't need them, have no use for them. You've all declared that you don't need no man. That is until you do. Then you all start asking, where did all the men go? Why are men ignoring me? Why don't men want anything to do with me? Which later turns into rage, anger, and bitterness at men for rejecting you, which then starts the cycle all over again. Men have seen this toxic insanity for decades now. They fully realize that bitches do indeed be crazy, and the best thing for any man, dare I say all men, is to avoid that craziness at all costs. Sorry, ladies, but men are done dealing with these little mind games y'all love to play and the ping-ponging back and forth. Thanks, but no thanks. You do you, and we'll just sit back and watch as you do. Y'all claim to be strong and independent. Well, now men have decided to let you just be that. Men have heard you and are saying, okie dokie, then by all means, you go do you and leave us the hell alone. Which leads me to yet another reason which occurs within that cycle of insanity that I just described. Specifically the part where y'all suddenly decide that you want or need a man in your life, but only if it's on your terms. Y'all have declared that you've raised your standards, which is really nothing more than you saying you want your cake and eat it too. And men, well, they don't even deserve to get the crumbs off your plate. Tell me, ladies, why do you all think men would have any interest in dealing with that kind of mindset? Oh, we all know that you say you're fighting for equality, to be equal partners in a relationship. Hell, I'm sure many of you actually believe it when you say it. But the reality we men know is that today's women are only seeking to maintain the status quo, where they get to be provided for while offering nothing, literally nothing of value in return. Oh, you all argue that you offer this, but what you don't seem to realize is that for 99% of you, this is about as valuable to men as that fine jewelry you find in a dollar store. For all your claims about wanting to have an equal relationship, the first and often only criteria y'all have is that the man be able to fund whatever lifestyle you deem yourself worthy of, even if said lifestyle is well out of the range of possibility for you and them. It's also why women who are at best mid think they deserve a perfect 10 man and will do anything and everything they can to get him, all while rejecting the good guys, the average guys who are more in their realm of possibility because, well, they simply aren't quite good enough. It's also why y'all have these lavish expectations of things like expensive dates from day one because, well, you are the table and thus that's what you deserve. And on the off chance that you do manage to get that date with the Chad or Kyle, then you quickly find out he's only looking to pump and dump you. And then he's going to move on to his next conquest. Just like they've done to the woman before you, and the woman before that, and the one before that. I hate to break it to you, ladies, but these Chads and Kyles, they aren't looking for relationships, and certainly not with women who are 3s, 4s, and 5s. Hell, not even the 7s, 8s, and 9s. And why should they, when they can have their pick of the litter, and 10 after 10 is literally begging to be with them? And when those Chads use you and toss you aside, what do? You do the same thing all the bitter rejected women do. You don't take accountability for constantly chasing those so-called bad boys. Oh, hell no, not a chance of that happening. Instead, y'all declare it's all men. All men are just like that Chad, the one that you threw yourselves out, who then turned around and hit and quit you. Those decent working guys, the ones you rejected as not good enough, not worthy enough, because they didn't meet your outrageous demands. Oh, wait, sorry, higher standards. Yeah, you then decide that they're just like those Chads. At least that's what you tell yourselves, rather than looking in the mirror and saying, it's my bad choices that led to this. Which leads to the third reason, and the one that is only going to keep growing. Men are done and walking away from dating, relationships, and marriage because there's literally no benefit, not a single one to them. It's become all risk and absolutely no reward. Not financially, not spiritually, not mentally, not emotionally, hell, in most cases, not even physically, if you catch my drift. Simply put, the return on investment isn't there. And guys have seen that. They've seen it for the reality that it is. Men have realized that the cost of expensive dates to try and woo a woman only for her to turn around and ghost him is an exercise in futility, especially considering that even if she doesn't play that ghost game at first, the chances are more than 80% of the time she's going to do so in the future. The corresponding risk of losing everything if things don't progress when she suddenly decides or gets convinced by her friends that she can do better is very real, and men know it. And it provides clear and convincing evidence that long-term relationships or marriage simply isn't worth it for men anymore, because women have proven beyond any doubt that their word, their so-called promise of commitment, is utterly meaningless. Men have figured out that the minute you all are bored or you don't feel valued, you're going to toss them aside, try and take him for every penny you can, and then go around trashing him publicly, claiming it's all his fault because he didn't meet your needs. All of your needs, no matter how outrageous or unrealistic they were. A bit disingenuous, to say the least, especially considering that the more likely reality is that it was you who didn't meet a single one of his needs. Yeah, thanks, ladies, but no thanks. Gonna be a hard pass. And now that you're finding your newfound freedom, what are you all gonna do? Well, of course, you're going to go back to chasing Chad after Chad and repeating the cycle over and over again, only to inevitably reach the it's all men stage again. Ladies, men have seen this cycle repeated over and over again. And if women are going to run around declaring that all men are like that Chad or Kyle, then they might as well be like Chad or Kyle. Which is why, when women eventually come face to face with the reality, usually sometimes in their 30s or early 40s, that they've hit the wall and they need to find someone, when they reach that moment when they suddenly decide that they're willing to settle or lower their standards, they end up getting pumped and dumped by the very men that rejected them before. Those very same good men that they treated like trash for years. Karma is a fickle bitch, and for today's women, it ends up biting them in the ass when they get older. Sorry, ladies, to be so blunt, but that's the reality. You got no one to blame but yourselves. Men didn't create this world, you did. And men are seeing it for the absolute insanity that it is. And that's why, ladies, men are done and walking away.